Aloha! Welcome to Hawaii's Best. Here, you'll learn what to know before traveling as we discover Hawaiian culture, local businesses, and the experiences that make Hawaii one of the most incredible places in the world. And now, your host, Brian Murphy.
Today, we have another great episode for you. We welcome back my good friend, Kahanuola Solatorio, a Hawaiian language teacher on the island of Oahu, and an amazing musician as well. Today, he talks all about the true definition of aloha, and I think we could all agree we probably have heard the word aloha. We've said the word aloha. We know that aloha means hello, goodbye, love, and it means so much more. And Kahanuola or Kahanui unpacks the different layers of what aloha means. This was a great conversation we got to have. I learned a lot from this conversation, and I hope you will as well get a renewed definition of aloha. We talked about how the Hawaiian people have led with aloha, manage conflict resolutions through aloha, and even address some current topics on the word being watered down and even taken advantage of. And that was an interesting part of the conversation, and I can't wait for you to hear the rest of my conversation with Kahanui. So why don't we go ahead, head on over and talk story with Kahanui. Kahanuola, thank you so much again for coming on Hawaii's Best. So great to see you again, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Yeah. Today we are talking about the word aloha and truly kind of maybe bringing some clarity and definition into what aloha really means. And recently we did a kind of a very scientific poll on Instagram and we asked people, what does aloha mean to you? And I just want to kind of read a few of those responses.
Well, good.
Here are a few that were kind of some of the more frequent ones were, welcome, hi, hello, goodbye, peace, love, happiness, love and kindness, inner peace,
yep,
home, love, paradise, being kind, respectful, gratitude. But maybe let's start here because I know there's a lot to unpack. But what is the most accepted definition of the word aloha?
For me, the funniest thing is that I cannot really define aloha. It's more of a mindset or a thought, but all of those that you just said were correct. I'm not saying those are wrong. It's just, for me, as a person that grew up here in the islands, as a person who is Hawaiian, I never was able to put a definition to aloha because I was just taught it. It was instilled in me from a young age that just to treat people with aloha, So I didn't, I always knew hello, goodbye, but I never really thought of it as just that. I always knew it was bigger than what I learned as those, hello, goodbye, love, affection. But I wanted to look into the dictionary too, the American Venapuku's Hawaiian Language Dictionary, and read some of the things that she put in here. And there's some of them include love, affection, compassion, mercy, sympathy, pity, kindness, grace, charity, a greeting or salutation, but also a loved one, a beloved person, charitable, those kind of things. So it's a lot to unpack into one small, tiny 5-letter word. But
right.
I think aloha for me is just a way of life. That's my definition.
No, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Growing up and being immersed in this understanding of aloha, and you learn words growing up like stove, speaker, microphone, food.
Yeah.
But then you talk about this word aloha, and that was something that was modeled to you, and it's something that's just ingrained in your blood. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. From my parents, my grandparents, they didn't actually say it, but through what they told me, to do what's right, to help others, to be kind to strangers, I learned it through that. I learned how to treat people with aloha through their leadership. So, and I'm not saying everyone here in Hawaii is taught that or has that instilled with them from birth, but for my family especially, we try and treat everyone with that mutual aloha. And for me too, I learned that aloha is a reciprocal thing. You have to give aloha to get aloha. It's not just a one-way street.
It's really a way of life. It's a mindset.
Yeah. definitely.
To give aloha, is it just a release of that? Are you expecting something in return if you give or show aloha?
Yeah. It's kind of weird because we try and treat everyone with the same kind of aloha to every person that we meet. But sometimes people don't give that same thing back. They either take advantage of it or they're just rude to you. They don't respect you. So that's where it gets kind of touchy because, you expect that same kind of reciprocal aloha back to you. But sometimes people, they were just not raised the same way as you. So I guess it just depends on who you're talking to or how they view meeting new people or starting relationships. It's all different. And I think we got to keep that in mind too, as, just people of the world, is that we're not all raised the same. So sometimes just know that there are differences in people. Yeah.
Yeah. And is it safe to say, or is it true to say that you can also release a relationship with aloha?
Yeah, definitely. We have a few cultural things that we do, which is one of them being ho'oponopono, like working through your problems with someone or working through a situation with someone with aloha. And of course, if you still have problems after that, there's a way to cut the ties with someone with aloha. It doesn't have to be kind of like this dramatic thing that everyone makes it to be.
Right.
You can still have a mutual respect with someone, even if you don't have a good relationship with that person, So that's the thing, probably another episode. But yeah, I think it's a good question to think about because, there's always that negative side if you're trying to, mediate a problem, but you can also fix a problem with a lot of aloha and a lot of mutual respect. You're going to need that aloha when you fix the problem or try and, attack the problem.
Gotcha. You walk into any store
Yeah.
and you see aloha everywhere on anything and everything, right?
Yeah.
Do you feel the word has been watered down?
Yeah, I think it definitely has been watered down because once you hear that word aloha, it's a good selling point. But again, it's not just a beach towel or it's not just a keychain. It's more than that. And I think tourists know that, but it's definitely been watered down throughout the years. And I think now, especially after going through a pandemic, maybe we can find better ways to promote the word aloha. I think there are ways that we can do that.
Okay. You recently sent me a video and it really unpacks really the layers of aloha. And I kind of want to turn it over to you and have you be able to unpack some of that for us and really take a little bit deeper dive into the meaning and layers of aloha. And then we'll wrap it up and have a couple takeaways, but I want to kind of really lean into you going into it.
Yeah, totally. For my Instagram channel on Eho'opili, I wanted to focus on the meaning of aloha and what it means to my followers and to me, of course. So my phrase that I wanted to focus on this month was a'a ike aloha. You want to try and say that with me? A'a ike aloha.
Ike aloha.
It just means to dare yourself to know someone or dare yourself to show affection. Especially now, we see so many things going on around us, around the world that are negative, So definitely, I feel that we here in Hawaii can teach the world more about aloha. We can teach people what that means. And how I was talking about earlier, having respect for people, just showing people kindness and not judging someone just by walking down the street. Some of these stories that I see in the news, I get very emotional because it's kind of heavy, but we all seen it. We see older people getting beat up in the streets. How is that? You don't even know this person and you're just basing your reaction to them off of their skin color or something that ticks you off from how they look. So yes, I think here in Hawaii, we want to promote aloha in all aspects, but definitely just a mutual respect and a mutual kindness and a shared love. We're all human and we're all here on this earth together and to work together. So this chat that I'm going to be sharing with you, it kind of, maybe I'll use this as my definition for aloha because it kind of unpacks everything that I feel what aloha means to me. So it was written by Pilahi Paki, who was a very strong Hawaiian woman, and she was a ho'oponopono. She was a mea ho'oponopono. She would mediate conflict resolution through an understanding of aloha, but she also was a big proponent of this word A-L-O-H-A, aloha. That simple 5-letter word that means so much. So she wrote a chant. It's pretty long, but I'm just going to go through the first 5 lines because that's your definition of the word. So the first one is Akahai e na Hawaii. I mean, you might as well just repeat it too, or repeat after me. So Akahai e na Hawaii.
Akahai.
So Akahai e na Hawaii, meaning just be kind. And she's talking to the people of Hawaii, but I think in this case, she's talking to the world. Be kind, everyone. In Kanaka, be kind, every person. Just have that kindness and that affection in your heart through your everyday action. So that starts with the A. The next line is going to start with the L. Spelling out the word. So the next line is...
I see where you're going.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. Okay, so the next line is Lokahi.
Lokahi.
Akulike.
Akulike.
Yeah, but... So that just means to be united together in harmony or be in unity in your thought, in your heart, in your mind. Yeah, I think that's how we can get through any problem is through unity, whether that be on a personal level, on a family level, on a more wider scale as a community level. Just having that unity be your guiding force and working together as a group. I think that's a very big component in aloha. Like I said, aloha is a reciprocal relationship. So there needs to be 2 people in that aloha.
Right.
Yeah. So working together, even if it's just 2 people, you get the job done if you have that unity mindset. Yeah.
Yeah. What about talking about over different cultures? I mean, obviously, elephant in the room, you and I'm not Hawaiian. I'm different culture. And so what about different cultures interacting with aloha? Is that possible?
Look, I think definitely. I'm sure you know, I don't know if everyone knows, but Hawaii is definitely a melting pot of culture and races. It goes back to the plantation days when many people came here and worked on the plantations. And it's actually kind of cool because they were all in that lokahi mindset. They all worked together and they all shared cultures. They, shared food, shared wisdom, shared anecdotes, shared jokes. So definitely in the past, that was the way our kupuna, our ancestors worked, different cultures working together, intermingling, having babies, of course. And here we are today. So yeah, I think it's that too. It's not really said much, but we know it's there. We know that we can work together as different cultures. And I think, seeing all the racial tension on the continent, we can definitely teach more people about that unity, that lokahi that we have here. I'm not saying that Hawaii is perfect. I'm not saying that we don't have racial tensions here, but because we definitely do.
We're talking about, this is kind of like the aspiration, the goal. This is the mindset to kind of be your North Star, what you're striving for. And yeah, no one is perfect. No culture is perfect, but what I'm hearing is this is what we're about. This is what we want to hang who we are on.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a guiding, like you said, North Star. It's that force that keeps pushing you forward and that keeps guiding your actions.
All right. So we're on.
We just did L. So we're on O now. So O is olu, olu.
Olu.
Kamana'o.
Kamana'o.
Yeah. So olu means pleasant, and then mana'o means thoughts. So be pleasant in your thoughts.
Okay.
Yeah. So all your things that you think, or, we all have that inner conscience that kind of like, the devil on one shoulder and then the angel on the other.
Right.
Maybe just go with the angel. I think that's what this is asking for. Like, lead with the angel and just kick the devil off your shoulder. But yeah, just to be pleasant in everything. For me, like, I can definitely let negative thoughts run rapid through my mind. But if I try and flood it with more positive thoughts and more positive images and doing positive actions, then I think I just become a better person. Of course, that's only for me. But during the pandemic, especially like the beginning, I was like, I just want to be home. I don't want to do nothing. I see everyone. I don't want to see people, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. It's like an introvert's dream world.
Exactly. And I don't know. I don't even know if I'm an introvert or extrovert, but I think I've learned to like drown those thoughts out with more positiveness, especially on social media, like kind of just promote positivity through my channel. And my mother is a very good example of that. You can tell she is just happy. You know, she's just always kind and always has positivity running through her mind.
I mean, yeah, you're absolutely right. I haven't met mom yet, but you just know it. Like when you see somebody, you feel it, that happiness, that joy. Yeah.
I get that a lot for her. Like, your mom just inspires me to be a better person. And I'm like, so what do I inspire? Nah, but I think for her, it's just, again, she was born and raised here. She was born with that mindset to exude aloha wherever she goes. And in Hawaii, we kind of have a joke for her. It's like, just, she's Miss Aloha, she could just, that would be her nickname or her title.
Right.
But it's appropriate. It's fitting. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So if I'm spelling the word right, we are on H, right?
Yes, we are. Okay. So this line is ha'a ha'a.
Ha'a ha'a.
Perfect. That's good.
Shut up.
Ha'a ha'a.
Ha'a ha'a.
Yeah. So ha'a ha'a ko kulana.
Ko kulana.
Perfect. So ha'a ha'a ko kulana.
Such a brat.
I am. But I'm a brat with aloha. So ha'a ha'a means like humility or to be humble or modest. And ko kulana is just like your presence or your state of being. Yeah. So I think having humility and not being arrogant and cocky is definitely a part of aloha, because I'm sure we all know that one person or a few people in our lives that are overly arrogant and, very, you're like, who do you think you are?
Don't think about them right now.
Just. This is so positive. But, I think too, it's kind of funny. We kind of laugh when they get knocked down a few pegs. Yeah. So,
but that's not aloha.
I know. Hey. Now you're being a brat. That's but yeah, I think if we think about as ourselves, like, always know that, you can always be better, or you can always do something, learn from something. You're always going to be a student. Don't just think that you know everything. You're fine. You're perfect. You're Mr. Know-it-all. You're on the top of the mountain, because there's so many things in this world that we don't even know about and we can learn from. So for me, that's my interpretation of that line. Ha'a kulana.
Got it.
And then the last one is aho nui.
Aho nui.
Yep. Alana kila.
Alana kila.
Yeah. So that is have patience until you're victorious. That is another key component is to have patience with people. When you work with someone for the first time, you have to learn how they operate and how they function. Sometimes people can't pick up things as fast as you. So this is where the humility comes in as well. As a teacher, as a Hawaiian language teacher, I've definitely learned how to be patient, because I know what I'm teaching, but I have to always remember that my students don't always know what's going on. They know English, but Hawaiian is literally a foreign language to them. It's funny because people may think, oh, you're in Hawaii, you should know Hawaiian already, or you're Hawaiian, you should know Hawaiian language, but that's definitely not the case. And we had a whole podcast about this earlier, so we'll check that one out, But yeah, I think for me, I've learned more patience being a teacher than throughout my entire life, and not only that, I have my class, but each student is individual. Each student has a different learning style, or, I think me and your wife had this conversation at Island Vintage about our students and how each individual student has to be nurtured in a certain way. So that's the 5 things. So if we want to break it down, we can go akahai.
Akahai.
Which is the first A, then which also means kindness. Lokahi.
Lokai.
Which means unity. Olu olu.
Olu olu.
Which means pleasant. And then also your favorite word, ha'a ha'a.
Hate you. Ha'a ha'a.
A plus, which means humility. And then my favorite word is aho nui.
I'm super humbled right now, if you don't know.
Yeah. I know. And then aho nui.
Aho nui.
Yeah, which means patient. So that would be probably my definition now of aloha. It's kind of longer, it's not just hello, goodbye, love. but it pretty much captures everything that aloha is to me.
Which one of those, we want to get a little personal, of those 5, which one of those do you feel you would love to work more on?
Probably the ha'aha'o, to have humility. Nah, I'm pretty humble. But see, even saying that makes me feel weird. Saying that I'm humble. So, okay, yeah, definitely ha'aha'a. I'll work on that one. I don't know. What do you think yours would be?
Well, yeah, mine would be probably the patience.
Okay. Yeah.
I think it's more or less patient with myself, right? Like,
cool.
So I can give patience to others and like, oh, sorry, I was late. Yeah, no problem. I don't care. And like, I really don't care. Like you were, not you, but someone might have been late or someone, didn't do something exactly right. Like we talked about, like I have a lot of patience and grace with that. But when it comes to myself, like I feel like I'm super impatient and super ungraceful.
Yeah, no, totally.
Towards me.
Yeah, for me too. Like if I don't do something right the first time, I get frustrated with myself. But I'm learning to deal with it. That comes with that first lie too, is be humble with yourself and be patient with your actions. So
that goes, even though, okay, we've identified a couple of things that we love to work on and to bring, like you said, it's a two-way street.
Yeah.
Though, right? So it's not just like, for me, if I'm not patient with myself, I want to bring all of myself into a relationship, into a conversation.
Yeah.
So self-identifying could also be part of it. Yeah.
Definitely. I think being able to self-identify your weaknesses too is another part of this concept.
So for someone traveling, what's the best thing someone can do to show aloha when visiting Hawaii? Yeah.
I mean, one thing would just be when someone says aloha to you is to say aloha back, like
right.
Someone can say aloha and then, or they should the shocker, hey, aloha. And then you don't get that same kind of answer back. You get like kind of like, why are you talking to me? You're a stranger. So maybe, that's the first thing, is to start off with aloha and maybe end with aloha as well. Or if anything, end with mahalo, which is a whole other word we can talk about too. But mahalo meaning appreciation and thank you. That's the easiest way, to show aloha when you come here. But it's funny because aloha, we kind of add it to other things. We add it to other words to make it like more specific topics. So one of the topics that we talk about here a lot is aloha aina. So that means the love for the land. And here in Hawaii, we definitely try and take care of our aina because we are the aina, we are the land. We have a story in our culture that the first kalo plant was our older sibling, if you will, which means we're related to the aina. We definitely have that mutual brotherly relationship with the land. We always say that if we take care of the land in turn takes care of us. So that you see that mutual reciprocal relationship again, between us and the land.
Right. I think a huge part of that, though, is we talk about traveling into really any culture, but having the understanding of, okay, why is the land so important to the Hawaiian people? And so having that understanding, I think, not just to like pick up your trash, do this, don't do that, but like truly have an understanding of why the land is important, why the land, and understanding those first voyagers, like that's all they had, and the land gave so much. And so understanding that, I think, kind of puts you in a posture then to like, oh, okay, I get it. I could pack out what I pack in to a hike, or I can, do that.
Exactly. I think too, it's researching the places before you come and knowing what's proper, what you can and cannot bring, because just those kind of things, being cognizant of your surroundings or what you're going to go to. And if it's just kapu, then don't go. It's like Stairway to Heaven. You're not supposed to go, but people like that kind of mischievousness of going and sneaking into a place. So just be mindful of where you go, what you bring into, and taking that same thing out when you leave that place. And, I think too, like having that mindset of, what you do affects everything around you, not only yourself. It affects the people around you. It affects the animals around you, the aquatic life, the ocean, everything, and it's going to affect our children in the future and their children, their grandchildren. It's going to keep going on. So always think of yourself as how you affect the world around you.
Love that. Kahanui, thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you.
How can people follow along with you and what you're up to?
You can follow us on social media, Facebook and Instagram at Eho Pinimoe. We just trying to promote Aloha Hawaiian language and doing that through everyday things that people can use on a daily basis. Follow us. We have free Hawaiian language classes on Zoom that you guys can get into. We have a Google Classroom. And that's the way I show Aloha, is through education, through my language, through teaching. That's how we met. You stumbled across my channel. And I think that's what I want to do, is just share my culture with the world, with Aloha, of course. So I wanted to say the chat for you as a whole, because we went through it individually as each line.
Right.
So maybe you can end with that.
Okay.
Kahanuola Hawaii, lo kahia kulike, olu kamanao, aha kukulanai, ahonuia lanakilai. Aloha. That's my definition of aloha.
Well, I just want to say thank you again and aloha to Kahanui for his time and just for his heart to share the many layers and depths of the word aloha. And probably for me, my biggest key takeaway was keeping a mindset of aloha, not necessarily just saying it as a greeting, but living a lifestyle that is aloha. And that for me is something that I want to work on and continue to lead through my family, the business, and in relationships, to lead and to model a life of aloha. So Kahanui, thank you so much for that. And thank you all for listening. And until next time, be well. Aloha.
Mahalo for listening to this episode of Hawaii's Best. To stay up to date on future episodes, please subscribe and visit us at hawaiisbesttravel.com.